Go eat something else. Hey, and welcome to the Virtual Summiteers live stream of the Mastermind. Not sure if everyone got the link to show up, so I can just do some walkthroughs of what I've been doing with my show, Talk Virtual. I'm using BeLive today. I don't know why my background isn't working, but oh well, you got my blue wall. So, if you don't know, I'm Ericka Bates. I host Talk Virtual. I've been hosting the Virtual Summiteers since 2019. We started as a small group who were interested in AppSumo and Hey Summit. Hey Summit put together a course on how to host a virtual event, and we all attended. They encouraged us to get groups of 5 to 8 together to make our own masterminds, and we went from there. I've been in at least 5 groups. Some of those groups weren't very interested in sharing, and some of them were very stuffy. But we all came together and we got to put together a mastermind. So, this is also my first time using BeLive, so yay for that. So, what I can do is show you how I automate and repurpose my video content when I host Talk Virtual, sorry. So what I do is I take a video, say like this, and I will use, let me bring it up here so I can better show you. I use Perfect Recall, and yes, it was an AppSumo deal. $69, and you could get 30 videos for, say, $69, 30 videos. They've raised the price now to like $269. Not sure why they did that, but I'm gonna try to share my screen here. See, share. Oh, I gotta click the actual picture of me sharing my screen. Hopefully you can see my screen. So I'm in Perfect Recall, and I see the latest one I did. Well, I haven't, see, I wanted to pick a short one, but 71 minutes. I don't think that's 71 minutes or 77 minutes. That was an interview I did, but what I do is I take the video, I make a snippet out of it by highlighting, and I am still not sure if you can see this or not. Let's see. It says that I'm sharing, but I can share in screen. Now I'm sharing. So, see, I wish I could see this and see what I'm sharing. So hopefully you are seeing my perfect recall screen. If you can, if there's a way to let me know, I would love it. So I go to perfect recall, and I make snippets of whatever, just highlighting the words. And see, scroll to current word. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to just make yeah, there it is. Make clips. Okay. Something like that. And it keeps saying go to current word. But anyway, when I can make a clip, I then take it to what's that thing called? Vadu player. And yes, this is another AppSumo deal. So take it to Vadu player. I like this one, 10 things to check off, a video walkthrough. This was a video I did maybe about 2 weeks ago. So what it does is I can make landing pages out of it. So that's what I do with my snippets. I make landing pages out of it, and I have a call to action, and it sends it to my SingFox account, where I have my checklist. So it goes, oh, and what I do with the transcripts, I just usually put it in the add keywords. So far, 45 views of that. What I wish it would do is let me have a Google Tag Manager, and I haven't asked them to add that yet, but that's what I want. So from there, I can also take the transcript and put it to my blog post, and from the blog post, I can put it into Missing Letter. Missing Letter will chop up a blog post, and see, I guess I could show you that also. Missing Letter will chop up a blog post and distribute it to all of your social platforms. And I like that. So you put in all of your social posts or social accounts, and most with the Facebook, you have to re-authenticate. Another thing I like about Missing Letter is that they have curate, and there it is, general. So I have a weekly schedule, and I wish it would just let me see where I had put my selections. Content, custom fonts, curate, general, auto schedule. Schedule off on. Well, I set it up for like months at a time, so I don't have to come back, because that's how much I love automation. Campaigns, that's what I was looking for. So these are what I'm running now. These have already gone out, and I have up to 4 pages of content that's already gone out. So uh, so that's what Missing Letter curate, and with my blog post, my dashboard. So with my, let's see, campaigns, I'll show calendar. Okay. So all my pages, all my social platforms. These are my blog posts that go out also with the missing letter curate. So what I wanted to show you is how it's set up, but I can't see that right now. Well, anyway, so after the missing letter curate, it goes to still in the blog, have the RSS feed set up. The RSS feed will take it from the blog post to Medium. We'll also take it to LinkedIn articles. LinkedIn will also send some of it to Twitter. So the blog can go to many different places. And after you take that the audio from the video, you can make that into a podcast. And I have the podcast set up for Anchor, and Anchor distributes it to all the other platforms. I also have what was it? Soundwise, another AppSumo deal, where it's a little different, but I can set it up to share different payment options. So that's what yeah, I think that's about it for how I automate and repurpose my content. Next stop is ebooks, but I haven't got that far yet. So I see L. Kersey on the call. Can I put you on screen? Great. I need to stop sharing. How you been, Elle? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What did you say?
I said, how you been?
I've been good. I've been good. I finally got
Hooray.
I finally got a time to come and check it out. So I'm excited.
Hooray. That's great. Even though you're the only one that showed up today. Well, I guess everybody had something to do. But the good thing about events is that you get busy after you host them.
Oh yeah. It's I mean that's the best part to me because people get to see your content at their when they can focus on it versus when you
Yeah.
can do it, right? So
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah. So how do you automate and repurpose your video content
I don't know
or
why
summit
when
content?
my sound got so low. Um right now we are in the process of modifying all that because a lot of the programs that we were using were using Flash at least partially. And since this whole Apple no longer supports Flash, you got to figure out what you're going to do. It has become a challenge to fit into the systems that we already have. So I don't know. I guess just because I coded most of our stuff, it's all like it's HTML, but it was like so Flash was like the basis for so much stuff that it just made sense. Like when you had an API to just use Flash to connect it, right? And
Yeah.
now it doesn't work.
I hate when
So
that
it's really
happens.
frustrating.
But I think it's great that you know how to code. So not not just so dependent on no code stuff. Like all the stuff
mm,
I just ran through is no code. You can add HTML. That's what I like about WordPress. But
hmm
me being dyslexic and working with HTML and HTML not working if things aren't spelt right, yeah. So
I I just have to make sure that I am in a quiet space and I'm able to focus and nobody's gonna come and bother me because I I I used to be more dyslexic than I am right now, but I went through this whole program and I guess it made it better. But for me, like as long as I can have the quiet and the focus and nobody's coming in interrupting and all that kind of stuff, then I can get it done. So my team kind of knows like when I'm in that moment, just don't bother me. Let me stay in my lab long as it takes.
That's
So,
nice. You found a way to get rid of dyslexia? Because I was told wear glasses and that will only kind of help.
one of the things that they made me do was, you have to you start making the alphabet in clay, and I don't really know how that exactly works, but it helped me a lot. That was one of the things that I had to do, and then another thing was you have to demonstrate out things, like you take little pieces of whatever's, and you demonstrate to yourself how it works. I still do that when I'm coding sometimes because it's so much data.
Yeah.
And so then I'll sit there and I'll like figure out, okay, so how is this particle supposed to move through? And it's almost kind of like mind mapping, but dyslexia happens in one dimension. So if you can bring it into three dimensions, then you're the way a person who has dyslexia thinks just is more like tactile and more the more real that it can be for you in this space, the
Yeah.
the less that your dyslexia is affecting you. Right? So you don't have dyslexia when you're looking at your shoes or looking at a table. It's just when you have to try to translate.
Yeah.
I guess it happens in the translation. I imagine. I don't know. I don't have
Yeah.
any of the answers about it. I just know it helped me.
You can definitely see mine if I'm writing. If you see my writing first draft and nobody's checked it over, yeah, it's there.
I never write anything without having like four people read it over first.
Yeah.
I'll write it, then my daughter edits it, then I'll have another person edit it, then I'll send it to the professional editor.
My graphic design teacher told me to become best friends with an English major. So yeah, I try to find English
Hi.
majors whenever I can.
Hi. I've I don't know. I don't have any problems when I'm writing or anything like that. Mine is always when I have to do a heavy lift and I get tired now. So I just make sure that I take a nap, drink some water, those kind of things. Make sure your body roots are in, because I think it's just distraction, just distraction.
Well, our first question here is how long is the most effective content intro, outro, calls to action, plus best tech to produce short-term video? So all that in one. So
What? What's the best? Are you asking me to answer that question?
yes.
Okay, so say it again now. What's the best?
How long is the most effective content? Let's start there. So I will
There's
say
no
I've
such
heard.
thing. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. And the reason why
Yeah.
I say that is because it's going to depend on your audience. You have you're going to have an audience that is very, like, people who read the newspaper. If you don't give them like long form content, then they feel shorted. So you have to have a variety depending on your where you're posting it. You're not going to put like a one paragraph thing on Medium, but you could put that on Facebook. So I write everything out long form so that I can get all of my information together in one place. Then we chop it up into smaller pieces based on where it's going to go.
I like that. Most of my automations is set up for long form so it can be chopped up. But I've recently heard from Gary Vaynerchuk that Facebook wants you to have your videos to be 1 minute. He says that's best for Facebook, but what's best for you is 1 minute and 30 seconds. I don't know why that is, but he says, but maybe it's just what he's putting out. That's what's best. I also heard from Ramit Sethi, when you're doing blog posts, have them be pages. The same with email. And
Have them be pages.
He has pages of work. His emails and blog posts could be ebooks. I've also heard that go with long form content for email, but I hate long form email. I delete them unless they have it where I can listen to it or click to go to their YouTube page.
Right. Well, because I think like that's why I said you got to have a variety, because everything is not for everybody. So it won't work for everybody. So depending on you're gonna have your sorry about that. You're gonna have your different demographics. If your target market is little kids, you're not gonna write a 6-page anything for them, right? It's gonna be mostly pictures. I love doing those little infographics for them because they catch it quickly and they move on. If you're gonna have, octogenarians as your target market, then yeah, you can have pages and pages of stuff because that's what they are used to consuming. So there's no magic bullet for anything. You have to know your market. You got to know who you're talking to, and it's also how you communicate best, right? So I am an excellent writer. I really, I've written several books, I've I've had several things published over the years. I used to have my own magazine. Um, I write pretty much all the content for most of the websites that we do. Um, Even most of the ads, I at least come up with the basic concept. So it's
It's
just
funny that most dyslexic people are writers.
huh?
There's a lot of dyslexic people that are writers. I just thought that was
Yeah.
funny.
I mean, it's not even. I mean, it's not a. Just because you're dyslexic, that doesn't mean that you can't be a good writer, right? It just means that you have to have a coping mechanism so that other people can understand what you're writing.
Yeah.
So, but I think that, I'm sorry, I keep getting a phone call. It's really a thing. So I understand that they're always trying to come up like with the basic denominator and the basic common denominator and what these platforms algorithms are best suited for. But my answer for all that is just know your audience. If you know your audience, all that other stuff is irrelevant. When you're trying to find an audience, when you're trying to figure it out, then that's important. But I don't mass marketing to me is no longer, it doesn't seem to be valuable, because if you can have like 100,000 followers and only 2 of them are engaging with your content, then what's the point of wasting our energy on that?
Yeah. So all of this I want to say is mass marketing, but with the intros, I'm gonna stick with 30 seconds. Or 15 if I can.
Yeah, I don't, all our intros are, again, it's going to depend, right? So if it's for TV, excuse me, if it's for a TV show, your intro can be, a minute, 90 seconds, depending on a minute to 90 seconds, depending on, because think about the intro for Golden Girls. That intro is long. Welcome Back Cotter was long, but the intro for Law and Order is part of their first segment, right? So it just depends. Really, it depends on the medium. I know I keep saying that, but it depends on the medium and the market. Because some people, and also the quality of it, right? So if it's really
Yeah.
interesting and it's really content heavy, or really good music or whatever, depending on your market, it's going to depend on what's the answer to that.
Okay. I want to
I
give a
know
shout
that's
out to
crazy, but
I'm sorry I didn't hear you.
I said, I know that's really crazy, but that's just how that goes. It's like, it's all going to be dependent on your market
Yeah, that's true.
and how you use it too, right? So, like, I think that the way that Law and Order uses their intro is pretty, I don't know, groundbreaking, really, because they use their intro as part of their setup for that segment, right, for the show. Um, because it just rolls right into, it goes to black and shows somebody dead on the ground, right? And then, like, I don't like that steamer punk thing that they have. Like, yeah, I don't know if you ever watched Penny Dreadful
Uh,
or Penny Dreadful or what's Sticky Stack? What's that show with Sticky Stackhouse was on it? Oh my gosh, I can't even remember it, but True Blood, that's what it was. That show. They got that steamer punk intro with all the different pictures, and I don't know. I don't like that kind of intro, but some people do. But it's pretty long.
I was just about to ask you. Well, first I got to give a shout out to Mark Huff and the groundwater guy, Thomas Ballard, who are watching on YouTube right now, just to say hey. But what are your thoughts on the shows that just start and then like maybe 15 seconds in, they'll do the intro?
As long as it's impactful when it first starts to get you grabbed in to watch it, then sure, why not?
I've read from podcast and YouTube experts that that's a good way to start your show for the most impact. I haven't tried it, just something I've read.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes, like, when you're on say Facebook or YouTube or something, and you want to just jump right in. I like that approach because a lot of times people like, can you hear me? Can you see me? Well, if you don't know, you can look right on the thing. You should have a way to tell. I don't know. And I hate when they were like, come on in, come on in. I'm here. I can't hear you say come on in if I'm not already in here. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
like you saying come on. That's just, and to me it's like you're not talking to me. Like, I'm already here, so come on in is saying to like, you're not listening, you're not happy that I'm here, or you're not acknowledging that I'm already here.
Yeah.
So I don't like that.
My
I find that.
presence.
Hmm?
I said, acknowledge my presence.
Well, yeah, but you still have just a kind of situation where you are. Mm, I don't know. Just it's not a good way to start a conversation, right? So if you're trying to, you want me to watch your content, I am here on time because I don't really have a lot of time to do stuff because I'm always doing something else, right? So the
Yeah.
fact that I took the time to show up on time, I would prefer for you to start on time or just let me come watch it when I can, right? On a replay or something.
I like that. My husband can't stand introductions. He doesn't want people to say hello or where they're from. He says, I come here for this content, just give me the content. He said, if I want to know your name, surely I can find it in the description somewhere.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I think you should, just like if you are, I agree with him. Like, I don't care where all that background stuff. If I showed up already, I'm pretty much already going to know that. I'm not going to show up in a, at a, like, I'm not going to show up at something and not know what I'm showing up to. So the person who is there, right, talking should be able to just say hi, or yeah, well, not yeah, well, I'm glad you made it. Let's get started, right? I'm El Kersey, I'm your host, blah blah blah. Keep going. It don't have to be, I'm El Kersey, I'm from Chicago, I own this and I got that. I'm like, I already know all that, or at least I should before I show up to your event or thing, whatever it is.
Want to welcome Thomas Ballard to the show, or to the live stream, really. Thomas, you have an opinion on any of this?
I just logged on, so I'm actually standing out here in the rain at a job site. So I don't know how long I'll be able to stay on, but kind of, oops, see where we're at out here. But we're working on a well today. But so I didn't catch the whole drift, but more like intros, I think you were talking about, and I have an opinion on that. Most people say that they don't care about you. So if you're starting off introducing yourself and doing a long history of yourself, most people don't care. Dive right into it, hit them with the hook, and then, if you want to do a quick, say who you are later, but start off with a hook. And talking about some of the TV shows, Law and Order. I know my wife watches that a lot. I think you're exactly right, and that's kind of how they start off, rip from the headlines and all that stuff. So grab their attention right away.
I'll know for next time then. My husband always says he can't stand the introductions and the hellos and where you're from and all that, but I did it anyway.
Well, and I think that we feel a need to do that, but when it comes right down to it, most people don't care. And somebody was just saying yesterday, I was watching something that you have 3 seconds on a video to grab people's attention. So you got to hit them with a hook right away. So that's kind of, and that makes sense to me. So I've really gotten away from the my long and glorious history and how great I am and all that stuff. When I start my videos, it's kind of like, just dive in, And if the content is interesting, then people will seek you out. You give them a CTA later, and people will seek you out. So that's learning stuff the hard way. But it's we're living in an attention deficit disorder society, and you got to grab their attention right away. I think is really what it comes down to, and so whatever you can do to do that is important, and you got to think it through a little bit. So, and the simple fact of the matter is, people really don't want to know about you. They want to know about getting a solution to their problem, and so grab them and get it done. So it's for me, it was kind of a knock on my ego. I mean, why wouldn't people want to know about me, right? but really, it's you got to hook them right away. So, and I think that's kind of what you were talking about when I jumped in. So,
Yeah. What do you guys think about the two-prong call to actions? That the really long, no, I don't need a great newsletter. Yes, I could. Of course, I could use more useful information or stuff like that. The two buttons, the two different colors, one with a positive yes and a negative no. Or should you just stick with one? Keep it one word. Just keep it short.
I like to give people an option. I think that's important. It depends on, again, it's going to depend on the situation. If they've already given you their first, I believe in a series of opt-ins, right? So are you going to opt in to be, send your email? Are you going to opt in to be on this or that? So it's just going to depend. I like to date people first, right? So I want to get to know you. I want to know what you are interested in, what you're not interested in. Our lists are so segmented that I literally could I could send an email to a person just totally based on, like the relevant information according to that product. Because I hate when people send me things and say, would you be interested in a Camaro? I don't drive cars, I drive trucks. So no, you should. And if you're trying to sell me a car, then I'm going to be irritated with the fact that you asked me if I want to buy a Camaro, when anytime I've ever had any interaction with you, it was around a SUV of some kind, right? So why would you think I would be interested in a Camaro? I know that's kind of specific, but I just think, but that's you're not having a conversation with a person. You're just throwing stuff and seeing what's going to stick to the wall.
Thomas is showing us his truck. He likes
I'm
trucks
a truck
too.
guy too, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So, do you guys tag your? Do you make your own tags, or do you make your audience opt into every little thing?
I do my own tags. So when somebody clicks a CTA, they go on my email list with a tag, depending on where it's coming from.
Well, obviously, I just said we make everything so ours is really specific because we have so many different cross products that, okay, so if you like this particular TV channel and it's on this specific topic, then you're probably like at least a show on another channel that we can't market to you to get you to come over to the other channel also, right? So we collect specific data, like interest specific data. So we have lots of different tags.
So you're segmenting your lists, is that?
Yes, we do. Okay. We segment like very a lot. I mean, we can have like the same person on multiple lists, but then then I built a filter that says, we already sent this person information about this and they said no. So then it'll take them off and request a review of their interest list, right? So then that'll trigger probably like a survey or like something that'll help us address, does this person really belong on our list, or did we miss something? Are we not serving them fully? So
how do you, sometimes tagging to me can get real complex in a hurry because you got multiple tags. People can end up on multiple lists, and so how do you keep that straight? That's kind of always my question. And and it's not an honest question because I kind of get in the weeds with that, and it starts, I end up being all over the place. So I'm always interested how people keep all that stuff straight.
Well, I built a filter, right? Because I like, okay, so all of our products are like very topic specific, right? So it's easier for us to tag people based on their interests because we don't really mass market. Exactly. I mean, we niche market very finely. It's finely pointed, so it's easier for us. So if we have a cross interest, because I don't believe anybody lives in a bubble or belongs in a box, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So we always give them an opportunity to we'll say, we'll go really specific, based on the fact that you were interested in taking a tour of this ranch. Say it's real estate. So you're interested in, you took interest in this rancher. Well, we found a similar type of rancher on a different side of town. So say, and they'll like, no, I'm not really interested in that side of town. Well, then we know that they were interested in that rancher because they want to be in this part of town. So then we'll maybe find like a 2-story that's similar to the original rancher in the exact same part of town that the one that they took a tour of. So then we know, then if they're like, this is really great, but it's still too big, because we don't want to do stairs. So you're going to get more and more information from that person. So it's less and less a shot in the dark. And if you have like that filter at the end, when you're like creating a list to send out something to, then you have less of a chance of sending somebody, a rancher that's 100 miles away from where they really want to be. Right. So, I mean, that's essentially what we do. I am like an anal stickler for analytics. So I love going through all that. Makes my team crazy, but that's it's the same way if you're gonna date somebody. Like, I want to know all the 411. I want to know everything. Yeah, so then that way I know, if you're allergic to strawberries, not to bring you strawberry shortcake. Like, it's important.
Yes.
So.
Well, my concern is always, because I'm kind of, still pretty amateurish about email sequences and getting, my big concern is always worrying about that I'm putting people that people end up on like 5 email sequences, and they're getting like, 25 emails from me a week. And that's, obviously a little excessive. And so do you do that with filters, or is that just
Yes.
not a legitimate concern?
I don't have a problem with how much content you send out, because the person has the right to say, I'm not interested in that, not interested in that, right?
Right.
But, the more you communicate with someone, the better. So if you have 25 emails that you can send to this person, just slow it down. Like, don't send it in a week, send it over like a 2-week period.
Right. Yeah.
And because the goal is to find out, because it depends on, I guess the way I think about it is like this. If you are dating somebody, the more interest that you show in them, the more they're going to think that you like them. So if they're interested in you, anything that you send to them, they're going to be excited to get. So as long as you're holding their interest and you're not just sending them wrong target stuff, then it should be fine.
Okay. I just, using the dating analogy though, you don't want to come across as a stalker either.
Right, but again, you can't be a stalker if the person is interested in what you're saying. Right. So
engaging content then is key.
Right. Okay. Exactly.
I was on an email list for
if you're sending me like 25 pieces of Tiffany jewelry a week, I'm fine. You can add a little Bulgari in there. I'm like, yeah, okay, I can live with that.
All right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, if you know what I like and what I'm interested in, and you can supply, and there's 25 pieces of relevant data, Why not?
Okay.
And they can always opt out.
Yeah, that's true. And they do.
Yeah, and that's okay.
And you
It
don't
just
like,
wasn't.
if they're opting out, they're probably not, it's keeping your list clean. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that, people that just delete all your emails all the time, it's not good for the health of your list or deliverability on your list. So you'd rather have them opt out and have a smaller, cleaner list.
Yes. I mean, we were talking about this earlier, and I was saying how it doesn't, it's not benefiting you to have 1,000 people on your list or following you or whatever, and only 2 of them are actually engaged in your content.
Okay. I
You're
missed that
doing
part.
a lot of work for nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I'm a fan of Markel Russell, the Client Attraction King. I'm a member of his Facebook group, and I watch his YouTube videos. Whenever I get a ping that he's put something up, I'm there. But I deleted his emails. He emailed every day, really long stuff. I probably would have kept it if he would have added the audio, or just sent me to a video of him talking about it. But no, I wasn't going to read all of that every day.
Yeah.
Right. But that's again the same what we were talking about before. You have to know your audience. And while you might not like his long form, somebody else might.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think I use a lot of the long form stuff that I get as fodder, like, okay, so it'll spark some idea that I want to write about. I'm not writing about the whole thing that they wrote about, but some idea. It's just like reading a book. You'll get inspired to say or do something, right? So I don't always take the time to read those long things, but I skim them at least if it's somebody that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
That's a thing. So and I hardly ever watch videos. Now that I think about it, because I don't have time. So if I can skim over the content and just read it real fast, then I more likely won't watch a video.
That
I don't have time.
that's an interesting point, because I'm kind of the same way, and I'm wondering how many other people are out there. They say video, video, video all the time, but I don't have time a lot of times, or a block of time where I can sit down and watch a 20 to 30-minute video unless I'm really interested in it. And I'm getting hit with a lot of this stuff. So either you make videos that are, 90 to 120 seconds long, and hit them with hard stuff, a little bit of information, a factoid or something like that, and subtitle it so they can watch it on LinkedIn. Or I tend to prefer, and maybe it's because, I'm an, and I'm an old fart, but
Me too.
I like reading this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I should say
literally what
the video's on, but I'm not watching it. I'm just really listening to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it depends on your audience, right? And their age and all that. It's just going to depend. And because a lot of times, what I like is okay, so I'm sure you guys have seen these ads where they're like, oh, click here to get more information, right? So then you click there, then this is video. And you used to couldn't even get more information without watching the whole video. So then I used to have to put the phone down somewhere, go do whatever I'm doing, let the video play so that I can finally get to the information. Because I'm not going to sit there and listen to all that hour-long explanation. Because most of the time, if I didn't clicked on it, I know something about it. So I don't need a whole doctoral about the background of the content of the information of the products, right? So now they've started doing it where you can watch the video or read the transcript. I always read the transcript.
Interesting. Because would you consider yourself a millennial?
I don't know. I'll be 50. I don't know what all those
Oh, okay,
age
so you're
things. I'll be
probably
50 next month.
Gen X then. So okay, it's just interesting because my son, who is a millennial, and you don't look 50, but on my screen anyway, you don't look 50, so that's why I
Thanks.
asked. But you know,
Look,
everybody looks like
every
me
bit of
anymore.
35.
You're
But
cracking me up.
but my son, who is a millennial, I mean, he's watching videos all the time. So it really is true. It depends on who your target audience is.
Mm-hmm.
For people that are, that my market is really, water system operators and stuff, and they're all gray hairs like me, and so they're going to prefer maybe a short video and then reading stuff. You get
Mm-hmm.
into millennials, and my son is, you can't talk to him, because he's always plugged into his headphones, or his
Yes.
earbuds. So
Yes.
it really depends on the audience you got. So interesting point.
Yeah, that's pretty. I swear, I feel like I've been a parrot just saying the same thing over and over the whole time. But I'm sorry about that. But that's just essentially the baseline of what's the answer to the question, right? That is the most optimal way to was time frame, wasn't it, Ericka?
The time frame?
I mean, what was the original question?
Oh, we're talking about calls to actions. I have this on my screen. Can you guys not see that? It's
Girl,
blue
I
with
can't
white
see
writing.
anything.
See,
No,
I'm
I
sorry,
see
I
that
can
can't
you
on
see
hear
it.
mine.
No,
I'm
I
on my
can't see
phone
it.
though, so
Me
me?
too.
Man, I guess that was something I needed to know. Well, the question was, how long is the most effective content intro, outro, calls to action, plus the best tech to produce short form videos? I guess we have moved on from call to actions, and I guess we slipped in a rabbit hole for email sequences and email marketing. But if we
But
go
if
to
that's the same thing, right? But really, that's the same thing because your email is a reason. Like your emails are always like a reason you're answering the questions and for the hesitation for them to take the call of action, right? So
yeah,
it's not just so all those things are the same. They're just different versions of a call to action. You want them to either become a customer or to move forward in your funnel. You aren't just emailing them because you think they're cool people, right? So right, so the again, it's dating. It's like, are we going to get married or what? Are we going to have kids? Are we going to buy a house? Are we gonna, you know, buy a boat? Are we gonna get a retirement home? Like, are we looking at plots? It's like that whole process of the lifetime of the the lifetime value of your customer. You're
yeah,
trying to increase that all the time.
yeah, it's true. You guys have any votes for the best tech for producing short form video? I demonstrated a perfect recall earlier, but also a fan of repurpose.io.
Girl, I had been looking at Perfect Recall because I was like, okay, so I think the Perfect Recall could be perfect because you have Zoom, and Zoom is free, Zoom is this, Zoom's that. But if you play, so say if you have another video, so this is what I came up with that because I was trying to figure out if I was going to do Spoke or not, and I don't want to. I think Spoke is amazing, but we do so much video content that there's no way that that would make sense financially for us. So, but I figured out that if you take a video that you already recorded, play it into Total Recall, it should.
Perfect.
Yeah. I was like, yes, that's gonna be my answer. So I'm actually gonna get the Total Recall today, because I think it's like I love it. I think that because I love that it doesn't have restriction on it. I love that you can get like several hundred um I guess gigabytes. I don't know what it is. Whatever. You get the you can get larger packages so you can have more storage.
Yeah.
So
And
Spoke
then
doesn't do that. I've got both Perfect Recall and Spoke, and I've been playing with Spoke a lot lately, but but
well, they do the same thing, but Spoke only allows you X amount of machine hours per month.
oh yeah, that's right. Yes.
I would use that in a day because we have like long, I mean, when I'm doing, like, we do interviews a lot for brands to help them get their message out fully in one video so that it can be either played in its entirety or chopped up into, repurposed, right? Just like you would normally do, but it's very specific. And to be able to also have at the same time mm, the transcript created and be able to edit the video in one space is phenomenal to me.
Yeah.
Because we have like we'll have like we have I think we have 4 programs right now that we use to do all that.
Hmm.
And
So with Perfect Recall, you can import a video from anywhere, and it'll do all the transcription for you and the subtitles. Produce an
That's
SRT
right.
file.
right, I think that you have to. I mean, it's just like. So what I'm thinking is, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm figuring like if how you can go into Zoom and share your screen,
Right.
and then if you play the video, then it's going to transcribe the video that you currently have because it's
Ah,
playing through. Yeah,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You don't have to do
Okay.
that.
yeah.
Clever.
What you
It's
gotta
any
do then,
video. You
Ericka?
can take any video.
Perfect Recall.
Yeah.
I thought it was only Zoom.
I thought it only worked on Zoom.
Well, maybe I took a video from another mastermind and I put it in there, but that video could have been done in Zoom. I thought you guys were talking about Perfect Recall had to be on the call with you.
Well, it'll
That's just
record the Zoom
No,
call
okay.
automatically, but I guess my question is, or I thought you guys were mentioning that you could upload a video to Perfect Recall and it would do the transcription there.
Okay, I get what you're
I don't
saying.
see. I didn't. I've been rendering for like 2 days, so I haven't been able to go on there yet. But I have it to purchase, so I haven't played with it yet.
Okay.
So, but what based on the video, which is why I'm not on my computer right now, but which is why I feel like, but okay, so think about it like this. If you have a Zoom call and Total Recall records everything that happens in the Zoom, then if you are playing a video, a pre-recorded video, it's going to also translate that as well, because that's part of the Zoom situation, because that's what you're sharing. So it should transcribe that also. That's what it seemed like to me.
Okay.
I don't know if they have another mode, so to speak, where you can just upload any video and have it transcribed for you. I don't know that.
Okay.
So,
Last I heard, they were
I'll
working
check
on
that
Google
out.
Meet.
It's a good question.
what'd you say, Ericka? You got garbled.
Oh, last I heard, they were working on Google Meets.
Ah.
Perfect
Okay, but
Recall.
no, but
But
but what we're trying to figure out is you said you uploaded a video into it. Did you upload the video into Zoom and have the app have the total recall transcribe it, or did you have to go into Zoom and play the video for it to transcribe it?
After I thought about it, that mastermind was in a Zoom call. So I just got that video and uploaded it. So it probably didn't make any difference.
Well, if you're uploading a video from Zoom, it should be an MP4, and so that should
Yeah.
take almost any MP4 then.
Yeah, that would be
Okay.
awesome. Well,
That's
I'm going
good
to
to
try
know.
it
I'll
today
have to
because
check
my
that out.
render's almost done. I'll report back later.
I do have other videos in Google Meet, so I'm going to try that. I heard they were going to implement that soon. So I'm
Yeah.
just going to try it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll check that out because that should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, how everybody got? I want to know how both of y'all got Total Recall. I don't even have it yet. That's
Well,
crazy.
it's perfect recall, and we got it as soon as it
Oh,
came out.
Total Recall. Yeah, Perfect Recall. You know what?
Sorry.
I hardly ever get. I hardly ever get any softwares lately because we have so many, and I'm always like, I don't need anything. But this is something that I feel is really relevant today, since we've been talking about like what's the best things and all that. I think that is very relevant for today, especially um, for SEO and searchability. So to me, that just makes perfect. That would be a really good investment because I guess at the level that I was looking at it, in it like $300 or 200 and some dollars.
$269. But if you would have got it right away, it would have been $69.
Oh well, I wouldn't have got it right away because I didn't think. I mean, because we weren't, well, yeah, that would have been great, but
It wasn't
I just
$69 for
never.
too long though, so that's
Yeah.
yeah.
What'd you say?
I said it wasn't $69 for very long. They kind of figured out what they had and upped the price pretty quick.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that, I think AppSumo is a great marketing place for softwares. And if I ever decide to write another software, then yeah, I would probably put it there, mainly to get the reviews and user input and data, because I think it's a lot of the softwares on there are very beta. So, and
Yep.
I'm like, I'd rather spend. I mean, I don't know if I would have thought about spending an extra $200, but I got an ad this morning, and it said if like the price today for the next hour is $29, but it's regularly $79. And I thought to myself that, well, I'd rather pay $79 later and use it than $29 now and not ever use it. Because this is wasteful. So that's basically how I've been with all the different softwares, and products, and because I have so many, I spent probably $400,000 or $500,000 on softwares, and I probably only use maybe $30,000 of them now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, because first, and that's
I
what
bow
one of the
down.
things.
You are
Huh?
way past me.
What'd you say? I can't hear you.
I said I bow down to you. You are way past me on that. I thought I
Oh my
spent a lot.
gosh. Well, I have like several different companies, and I had my first digital product back, oh gosh, 90, maybe late 90s, mid to late 90s, something like that. Let me see, she was 4, 3, yeah, so like 97. I had an online magazine back in 97 when it was like hardly anybody on the internet, but so I've been, softwares, and over that time period, and then a lot of the softwares that I actually own now don't work. coming off of COVID, trying to go back to stuff that you've been using, to find that Flash not being supported anymore has killed off so many programs. And a lot of developers didn't want to put the money in to switch over to whatever is the option for that. So they're just gone. And I'm just so frustrated. So I'm just like, yeah. So I've been very unwilling to invest, but I think that this will be I think that not total recall, perfect recall will definitely be a great investment.
Yeah. I'm very
It's a
happy
good
with
tool.
it.
It's a good
Oh,
tool.
that's great. But see what I'm saying? Like, you saying that you're happy with it makes me feel very confident, because I trust you that I will be happy with it as well. But being on AppSumo for a software developer, you get those kind of accolades that allow, I mean, they can sell it now for $2,000 and $3,000 for like their basic package, like everybody else. Because there's nothing that I've seen. I've looked at a lot of them, right, and they're all super, super limited.
Yeah.
And having the ability to use it this way for everything, I'm like, yes.
I got Happy Scribe, and I thought I was getting 2 hours per month, and it's been maybe 6 months or a year now, and I'm still at 2 hours. I can't use it.
Right.
And they're asking me for more money. I'm like, don't ask me for more money when you told me I had a lifetime deal.
Right.
So
Right.
Perfect Recall is great.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to get on it. I'm at 88% on my render. I'm waiting.
Yes.
So
We spent a
yeah.
lot of time waiting for things to render. Yeah.
Yes, I have a render box, but with COVID, I didn't ever put it on. So anyway, so this week and weekend, I will be setting up my studio space and all that kind of stuff. So COVID was the challenge that I never anticipated in my life. Yeah. I don't think anybody anticipated. I mean, you always they always say plan for a rainy day and save money for a rainy day. They didn't say save money for a rainy 2 years. Nobody told me that.
Not when the country shuts down for 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's planning for that.
Exactly. I was not ready. I wasn't ready. So I was like, now I know how people during the Revolutionary War felt, how people felt during the 60s. I know how people felt during the Depression. And I'm like, wow. Because all that happened in this last year.
Yeah. Devastating.
Yes. And now I'm like, okay, so we have to, and also, and speaking of communicating with your audience, I think that people are more interested in authentic connections right now. So no more of the cookie cutter conversations and all those kind of things, because those are done. People are so over it right now.
Yeah. So do you think live is the way to go then, where you're engaging people real time and not just a canned webinar?
It's going to depend again on your audience, because I can see how all those things are necessary. Because evergreen webinars are very good for people who don't have time,
Right.
but also don't sleep. Excuse me, because I don't sleep. I take naps, during different periods of the day. So at night is when, because there's nobody bothering me, there's nobody calling me, there's nobody who needs my attention, and then I can just like focus in on what I gotta focus in on. So then so at night is when I can, if I'm like, okay, so I have like a list of evergreen webinars that I want to watch. So then I just go through those. I'll let those play in the background while I'm working on like some design something, or those kind of things. So I'm consuming your content but I'm also doing what I need to be doing at the same time. Then if I decide that what your content was about was worth my uh, worth me taking your action, then I can do that. But then you have some lives are very strange to me because I'm always wondering who are they talking to. Um, like what's the purpose of the live? Like, are you trying to help somebody? You trying to educate somebody? You trying to um like help them pass some pain point, or like I don't understand like why you're doing it. And then so that's what I mean by like ingenuous marketing. You just, it's for your ego is why you're up there. Really, you're not really interested in helping people. And then those kinds of um that kind of marketing is dying.
Well, it wears me out when I see somebody that's just up there, flogging themselves and all their accomplishments, and so you're watching 50 minutes of their accomplishments, and then you maybe get 5 minutes of useful content at the end, like you say.
Yeah, like as an afterthought. Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly, yeah. So
it's yeah, it wears me out.
because I don't have, I am so like I am so driven, and I am such a like workaholic, and I'm always creating the next thing. So I just I'm happy. I if we sat here and talk about all the things that I've done, you would be like, really? Okay, fine. Like blah. That's so dumb. I'm sorry, Ericka. What?
Oh, I didn't say anything. It's my kid behind me
Oh, okay.
complaining that I haven't made her popcorn yet.
Oh. Sorry.
But with the Zoom meetings and they hide the chat, it always seems like they've made up the questions themselves. At least that's how I feel. I wonder why they're hiding it. Um,
I didn't even know you could hide the chat.
I think it's with the webinar feature, you can hide the chat. Also, I've been asked to make webinars about how I do my processes, and I'm not sure if that's just good for one person, or would it be good for a lot of people, or will it seem like I use too many tools to do one thing, like how I make those video landing pages.
Mm-hmm.
It's your process. It's whatever works for you, and people may find
Right.
that instructive. It may seem inefficient to other people, but if it's your process and it works for you, then, and there's people out there that may get, maybe pick a tool out or two and find it instructive. I always find that interesting. Even if I wouldn't adopt it 100%, I still find people's processes interesting. And maybe I'm a geek that way, but I find it interesting to see how the heck did you do that?
Oh yeah, I agree fully 100%. I think that Ericka, you could this the the way you do what you do will somebody will either copy it because they don't have the ability to um or the time, say, to figure out how to do it themselves, or um or you will inspire them to come up with what works for them, or you'll give them that one little piece that they couldn't figure out. That's always, to me, the reason why you want to watch how to's, because it's like pretty much most of it, but you just can't figure out the nuance, right? Like what actually makes the glue stick to the paper, right? That kind of thing.
Exactly. Boy, that's yeah. You said it much more eloquently than I could have. But yeah, sometimes it's just that one little thing you can't figure out, and once you get that aha moment, then it's kind of like, oh, everything else falls in place.
Absolutely.
The thing with me in automation, I love that I can set it up once and don't have to do it again. But like earlier today when I was trying to show everyone how I use missing letter, I couldn't do it. I set it up in 2017. It takes from my blog post from WordPress. I couldn't figure it out anymore. It does it by itself.
Hey, I need that in my life. I need that in my life. But that's the beauty of what you do. Like, everybody has a type of genius, and that is your genius. And and there's a lot of people who would love to know how to, eventually I could see you, either educating people and charging them for it. I could see you doing that, or setting it up for businesses and charging them for it, right? Because right, it's because think about it right now. A lot of people, so since COVID, there's a lot of people who were scared to go back to work, and they had to figure out alternative ways to survive. And they keep saying, well, people don't want to come back to work because they're getting money from unemployment. No, people figured out how to survive other than working as a waitress, right? So that is okay. So that's a thing.
Yeah. I get things that I ask for. And while I was at my 9 to 5, I'd say I didn't want to be here. And for like maybe 2 days straight, they were telling me that people were getting more on unemployment than being at their jobs. And then so I said, job, free money. And I was like, and then I said it out loud. And then there's like, hey, we got to let people go. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks. So I started doing this. And then, yeah. So I started doing this, and I got a few people to help to let me build their summit platforms. And I'm like, yay, because otherwise I was doing this. I could only help people with pre-recorded stuff. And I was doing this while I was at work, and they would call and say they would need help with something. And I would have to secretly stop doing my job to help them with their summit. And I really wanted to help them with their summit. So, yeah. So I left there. I started doing this. It started going really well for a while. And so, yeah, it's like today's the second day of Juneteenth. It's like we're celebrating our freedom, and I'm celebrating that I don't have to go back to the 9 to 5. I can make this work. But in another conversation I was having, they were telling me that you're celebrating your freedom, but you're actually working more because you're doing your own thing. So now I got to figure out how to delegate, hire VAs, train them. I'm working on my SOPs right now to try to figure out how to get other people to do what I do so that I can get help.
Well, it's good, but you're working on stuff, and you're working for yourself, so there's going to be a little more work, and it's it's constructive. I always feel better about that. If I'm putting in extra hours on my own stuff, then you're getting somewhere in the long run. You develop those processes and SOPs, and you're going to get there. But it all is essentially money in the bank down the road when you're working on your own stuff. So it just takes a little bit of elbow grease to get it rolling.
Yeah, and when you're working for someone else, you're building their legacy.
Right.
When you work for yourself, you're working for your own legacy. So the effort and energy that you're putting in and working more is going to yield you a greater reward over time than just working for someone else. It's just how it goes. And that's the exchange that you have to put in, and it's because you are no longer exchanging hours for dollars. That is the beauty of working for yourself, because the reward is much greater.
Yeah, I can see that. So the next one is well, I guess we already went over short form videos, is Sources of topics for your content, especially the short form videos. I think processes is a good one for me.
Processes.
Yep.
Does
Yeah, we were just
anybody
talking
ever
about
use
processes.
Quora for finding topics on things?
I use Phrase,
Phrase?
another
Yeah,
AppSumo. Yeah.
yeah.
What is it? What was it? Say that again. I'm sorry.
Well, Thomas uses Quora and I use Phrase.
For what?
Topics for content.
Just researching questions that people are asking, and I think that's
Oh, you have okay. I got you. I was like, what? You Quora is Quora. That one.
yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
I just what I use, y'all. I just use the questions that people ask us. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
when I'm trying, y'all know I'm trying to do two things at once. But that's what basically we use. We talk a lot to our customers, a lot. We talk about all kinds of things, and then they always have questions, so that's what we write about. I don't know. I was trying to think if we use a software. When we first started, we used to um, answer questions that people asked on different platforms. Like if you're on Facebook and somebody's like, what's the best restaurant for seafood in Greenville? So then we would either do a video or write a story about it. And that was really how we did it. That's how we built up most of our followings on our channels and stuff. Was that?
Yeah. I talk to a lot of people about events and they say I don't know a lot. So I start talking, but maybe it's a ploy to get me to start talking. I'm not sure yet. They tell me that they take courses on how to set up a virtual event. And I ask them about the strategies they're using, and they say they're not sure about it. So I like LinkedIn, so I talk about LinkedIn strategies a lot, and they say they never heard of it. So I
LinkedIn.
yeah.
Wow.
So I talk about putting the your what is it, your event on all of your banners on your social media, and they say I've never thought about that. And all of this stuff is like, wow, why haven't you thought about putting stuff where you already are? So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I used
So
that tip. It worked quite well.
I thought it was good, but I
Yeah.
don't know why. But these people, they say they've been event planners for a while, and yeah, but maybe too long, and they haven't been in the I guess re- I want to say I research, but I just hang out with a lot of other event planners. I go to a lot of other event things, and like you said, Elle, when people don't have on demand stuff and it's just live, and they just tell me I missed it, I hate that too.
Yeah. Some of these AI tools that are out there, um, it seems to be the hot thing, but I've got a few of them. Phrase is one, but there's some other ones I've got, and they'll supposedly write everything for you, and you don't have to do anything, and just. But that's not true. I mean, I think it gets you to a start. You got to watch out for plagiarism issues. When they're pulling content from different places and rewriting it, sometimes it'll still
Mm-hmm.
pop up in plagiarism checkers. So you really got to be careful with the AI. It's getting a lot better, but I don't think it's quite there yet. So I end up, it'll give me some ideas, phrase and some of these other ones, niches, and I've got a number off of AppSumo and elsewhere, and it'll give you some ideas, but I think people that just rely on AI to write their stuff for them and they don't go back and edit it are making a mistake because it still doesn't quite sound human, very stilted and or at least to my eye anyway. So the
Yeah,
AI stuff can be helpful, but you got to use it for ideas and early stage stuff, and then plan on doing some rewrites yourself. So
if you guys read the AppSumo blog, they have stuff on what is it? Blogging. One of the tips I got from them is go to Google, go to what was it? Quotes, and type in what your topic is, and you write about that quote. You add those quotes in, and then you write about those quotes. Tell your own personal stories relating to that quote.
Okay.
So I really like that one.
Yeah, that's good. You know, for general stuff. You know, I tend to write more about technical stuff, and it gets a little harder to find that information. So, but you probably need to not do the technical stuff all the time, but mix in some personal stuff and you know some fun stuff. You know, kind of mix it up a little bit.
You
I
had
agree.
a story in LinkedIn about the first well finder. I forgot the name of the guy. It was a reference to the Bible. I thought it was a nice story. If
Oh,
you
that was
did more
mine.
of, I'm a fan, Thomas. So if you had more stuff of how the history of whales and how it came to be
Yeah,
to what you're doing right now, I would find that interesting.
yeah,
Like
that
even what you're doing right now, cleaning a well or watching other people clean a well with acid. I didn't know it was a such thing. I thought that was cool. So yeah.
yeah. Waiting for the drillers to show up here. So big part of my job is waiting on other people.
So
But yeah, that was kind of a fun little story, you know. Isaac in the book of Genesis about finding the wells and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a lot of people that are hydrogeologists like myself don't even know that story, you know, and it's right there, you know. So Genesis 26:32,
Yeah.
Isaac and his wells.
So
sorry, y'all.
you are right.
Yeah, so it was just a fun little thing. So a little departure from the normal technical stuff that I do.
Yeah. So the next one up is sponsors and sponsorships. Um, I met a guy, Chris Bayless, on LinkedIn. I took his course. Big fan. Tried his way of doing things. Kinda, because everything just went out the window when I start talking to people, and they ask for everything he said don't do, like have a gold, silver, bronze. He says don't do that. So that was like I guess I was scared after that because I didn't ask any more people. But my next uh I think thing I want to try is try partnerships. So what do you
So
guys
my
think?
question is, why did he say not to use gold, silver, bronze?
Oh, he says you leave money on the table. He says when you take in-kind sponsorships, if you just say gold, silver, bronze, and you have a list of stuff, you're not really asking them what they want. Can you really give them a return on their investment if you just have these packages? And if you don't research what everything in your pack, you can have packages, but ask them what they want, research what they're worth, and then ask them for that. It's like how much could a possible sponsor get for a logo placement or whatever kind of activation you have for them? Like how much would that cost them? And then you charge them that for putting in front of for you putting them in front of your audience, and your audience should be their audience also.
I agree that you should always have a cross pollination of interest for a sponsor because otherwise it's not worth it to them. We do a lot of pre work for our sponsors, for our client sponsors. We do a lot of in event activities for our sponsors, and we also do post event stuff for our sponsors. So, and then we also have a directory that we use for our sponsors. So,
So what does post event mean? I'm just curious about
well,
that.
okay,
That's
so
interesting.
post event is say somebody came to the event and they didn't get to go visit a sponsor's booth or talk to a sponsor, and they don't really know how to get in touch with the sponsor or what have you. So we will help the lead, help the lead and the sponsor get connected, even after the event is over.
That's very nice.
Yeah, I like that. I haven't really heard too much about that. So
yeah, we have what I took all of last year to really dive deep into what could create value for virtual events. So we went through a lot of different scenarios and trials, just kind of looking at, all right, so they don't have a physical presence. What would make it even better? So we have a lot of different layers and tools and interactions that we've created for our virtual events, because we host a lot of virtual events. Lots of them are corporate, lots of them are, and they're also like lead gen stuff. We're moving into things like helping groups of coaches to reach a market that makes sense for what they offer. So you got different coaches that kind of are woo woo. You got different coaches that are business. You have coaches who are technical, right? So we'll
I want to
group
be
them
all
together.
three.
Huh?
I said I want to be all three.
Right, but the audience won't be all three, right? So you
That's
can
right.
go to all three, but you could be a participant in all three, but you are gonna craft your message and your offer to the audience, right? So we move them. So we will curate an event. So technically it becomes our event, but we are curating the content as well as the attendees. And so we've created a whole ecosystem for the attendees, for pretty much depending on the target of the event. So it could be like for, beginner, intermediate, expert, right? Kind of things. And it really gives, it becomes almost like a summit in a way, where you are able to go from not knowing to knowing at a specific level in whatever the topic is. And then you also have people to help you, right? So every speaker has an offer. So if you know like the beginning and the middle, but you don't know the end, right? So you have the opportunity to be like, oh, my aha, this is the person that I need, right? Kind of thing.
Interesting. Thanks for sharing that. That's those are some good insights.
Thanks.
That was pretty smart. That's what I like about it.
Oh, thanks, Ericka.
So, for you two, I think Thomas, you already have it. Elle, if you're interested, I did take Chris Bayless's course. I have it somewhere. If you're interested, I will send it to you. But
you sent it to me. I get his stuff, so I must have gotten on his list somewhere at some point, and I think it was through you. So
he's a good guy.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to see it. I think that I'd love to do that. Because I don't know even who he is, so yeah, I'll definitely take a look at it.
Find him on LinkedIn.
Okay, I will.
I've been trying to get him to be a speaker on, or a guest speaker on our mastermind, or at least have him on Talk Virtual. I can't get a hold of him, but I'm still trying.
He's probably in high demand. That's the challenge. So,
hey, the high demand people know that to stay high demand, they have to be available.
Got to get out there. Yeah.
So. You still, because just because you can eat today doesn't mean you'll be able to eat next week.
Well,
I
this is a
think that's
new,
what COVID taught us all.
yeah, this is a new format for us, but I like it, you know, and I think you can. This is something we can kind of build up and build an audience, and then, you know, and then start attracting some of these people like Chris Bayless and stuff. You get enough people on here, and it makes it worth their while to come on. So it's always kind of a, you know, chicken or egg thing is, you know, getting the audience built so you can get the speakers, but you need the speakers to get the audience. So, so it's always kind of an iterative process.
I mean, Erica, I'll be happy to help you, like build this out if you want. I didn't, I mean, this is my first time coming on, so I'll be happy to, you know how I do. You know how I do. So I'll be
Awesome.
happy to help out if you need it or want it,
Yeah, I'll take it. So if you want to do that, I appreciate it. Let me know what I can do for you. I know you haven't used Run the World yet, so if you want to use that, it's
What is
available
Run
for
the
you.
World? What is that?
So
I even mentioned that like a couple times. I don't know what that is.
so do you have Hey Summit?
No.
So I would use them together. I would use Hey Summit as the payment gateway, and I would use what was it? Run the World for the event. So Hey Summit is your event wrapper. Once you open Hey Summit, inside there will be Run the World.
Okay, hold on. Let me write it down. Let me write it down.
Yeah.
I'm over here knocking stuff down, about to break stuff. All right.
Run the World
So
works well for like an interactive webinar or a class. I used it a few weeks ago for a 3-day class, and it worked pretty well. And I will have to say that technical support was wonderful in helping me when I ran into glitches, because you'll always run into glitches, of course. And
Yeah.
they really worked through things. So that technical support always knocks things. Good technical support always knocks things up a notch or two, in my opinion, because there's so much bad technical support out there that you really stand out. And I was pretty impressed with the platform. They do charge somewhat confiscatory percentage on ticket sales, but there's some ways around that. But as far as a platform for delivering things, it really worked very well. So I was impressed, and I'll run some more events on Run the World for sure, especially classes.
Okay.
so if you have a free
That
event,
sounds good.
it's great and it's easy to set up. It's like it reminds me of Hey Summit, except for it's easier to set up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Because we do, I mean, we really focused on like medium to large events, but sometimes we do have smaller events. I don't know. I mean, because and most of our events are like, I want to say they are. We do a lot of software training type things, launches. Uh, Trying to think. I can't. Okay, so I have my summit that I'm gonna do that's coming up in July, and I'm like so excited about it because this is like the first one that I actually did. That's like totally my thing. So
All right.
I'm excited. So
Congratulations.
thanks. I
Yeah.
mean, we do because we do events all the time, and I'm always just kind of like a part, like a backseat kind of backstage person, helping everything happen. But for this one, I mean, I'll still be in that same position. Like I hate being on stage and all, but I am going
Really?
to.
So you have a
Yeah,
good
I don't like
presence.
it.
So you come
Well,
across very
thanks.
well here. So
Well,
I'm
thanks.
surprised at that.
Yeah, it's just not my favorite position. Like I would much rather spotlight somebody else doing what they're doing, instead of being on me. But I'm just talking about for this particular event that I have coming up. I'm like so excited because it's what it's about hair, right? So it's it's all about hair.
Okay.
So you can't tell right now because I wasn't expecting to be on screen, but whatever.
Oh, that's
But
That's
Yeah.
fun. I mean, I probably need to be there, right?
Hey,
But
yeah.
my
I mean,
hair needs some work. I
it's gonna
got
be
enough of
very
that
fun.
hair. But
Yeah.
no, that just goes to show that you can take the topic and you can make, I mean, hair. Who would have guessed? I'm not a woman, of course, but I wouldn't have even
You
thought
have
about it.
hair.
So, yeah, I got hair. Yeah, still got hair. Even
Yeah.
though I'm an old fart, I still got hair. So
Hey, that's a sign of that and I've read this about this guy. He had died, and it was an African culture. I don't know which one it was, but they were the wife when he passed was bragging that he still had all his teeth and hair. So that's a sign of I guess for fertility or virility or something. And
yeah.
yeah, so that's kind of interesting. I thought that was so funny. I can't remember the details because it was so long ago that I heard the story,
All your teeth and hair.
but it always stuck with me. I was like, well,
Yeah.
I guess when I get my dentures, it'll be all right. 'Cause
A
right now
man
I'm
with
gonna
a
have to have
beard is a
dentures.
sign that he's fertile.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it is? Okay. Well, all right then. All right.
I don't know where I grew up. It's kind of like which was in Montana. It's kind of like you want to die with your boots on. So same type of thing. So I'm going to die with my boots on with all my teeth and hair, right?
Okay. Hey, Picasso had a baby when he was 90.
Yeah. Well.
Oh yeah, we don't
Yeah.
digress so far. What was the next question, Erica?
That
We're
was
gonna have to
it.
have this conversation at night after dark.
Well, in our mastermind, there's so many rabbit holes we jump through. There are going to be some more next week.
Oh, cool. Well, I will
Yeah.
try to be here.
Hooray!
All right.
Well, I guess I'll let you both go. And thank you both for coming on and being live with me.
Yeah.
Well,
Even
it
though
was
it's
my
kind
pleasure. Thank you for having me.
of impromptu out here I'm out here on uh, former Vice President Al Gore's property. We're working on his water wells out here today. So that's kind
Nice.
of where I'm at. So he's got a very nice property out here, as you might imagine. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's
but
cool.
people like that pay their
I
bills,
used to
though,
work
so
for
that's
him
always good.
actually.
Yes.
I worked for when I was in DC. I worked in his office
Oh, did you?
for like a couple months because I used to. I don't know. I was more like a floater at the Capitol,
Yeah.
and so they would like. And I worked in his office. I worked in several different Congress people's office, and then I got disillusioned and I left.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can understand. Politics in general is depressing, but
They were supposed to peek behind the curtain.
That's true. That's very true. Because you will be very surprised what you find back there. But yeah.
yeah. But he's got a nice spread out here in Carthage, Tennessee. So 550 acres organic farm
Wow.
right on the river. So
Wow.
and a problem water well. That's what I'm out here dealing with. So
Okay. Well, I have to say he was very nice. He wasn't a jerk like some people.
okay, well, yeah, for a politician, that's saying something. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah, he wasn't a jerk. All right. So I feel very blessed and very happy that I spent this time with you guys. Thank y'all so much. I have no clue what my background looks like. I'm sorry if it's a mess. I don't know.
hey,
I was not anticipating being on the screen. So whatever the future holds, it holds. Y'all have a great day.
I just
All
appreciate
right.
your
Bye,
contribution.
y'all.
So thanks so much.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
See everybody next week. Have a great weekend.
Yes, sir.